everybody. I'm Jeffrey Vizcaino, your director of social media here at Playable, and I'm with an icon. I mean,
stop it.
Come on, a music icon of one of the most legendary music groups of all time. Joey Fatone, thank you for being here with me today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Appreciate that, seriously.
Well, also want to say welcome back to Broadway.
Right? It's been many moons. It's been over 20 years, yeah. Crazy.
And is it everything that you remember?
Yeah, well, it's definitely a new show, so I don't, it's different. But it's you know what? It's one of those things where you remember the feelings of being on stage for the first time, especially when I did Rent back in the day. It was one of my first Broadway shows. And then being able to do it again for Little Shop and coming out there, it's a different, I think it was a year later, actually, 2004, I believe. And it was just, again, another story, another chapter. And then years later, obviously been doing a whole bunch of other stuff, always kept wanting to try to come back to Broadway, but never knew exactly what project would be good. For sometimes, of course, when you do an original role, it takes a big chunk of your life. I mean, you're really doing the grind for about over a year before it sometimes gets picked up. So heard about Juliet through very close friends of ours who were producers on the show, Teresa Page and Tim Hennington. And the cool thing about it was I saw the development of the show and how it started progressing and knew about the songs, knew about everything. And it went to West End. Then it blew up and came over here. And then all of a sudden they called up and said, hey. And I even talked about it one time, nonchalant to Teresa, and I was, hey, if there's ever a part, let me know.
Yeah.
And they go, hey, listen, we'd love you to come in. They had the original cast, but they want to bring somebody in, and they'd love for you to do the part of Lance. And I was like, let's figure out a time. And we worked with the schedule. Obviously, I'm always running around crazy, but able to get the schedule in when we're doing an 8-week run. I'm here until March 16th, and it's been a blast. Everybody's been wonderful. The welcoming with everybody, getting back on a theater, on a stage, and the grind. It's fun. It really is. It's exciting. I know people sometimes when you're doing a show for so long, not to say you take it for granted, but you get in that rut of the show over and over and over. It's like Groundhog Day. But to make it fresh and have that in your mind is always a blessing, especially stuff that I do. When you get into a rut where you're doing the same show over and over again, you start to pick it out and do different things and different thoughts on it, which is a lot of fun. I think for this character too, my character's fun, and I get to. I so far they haven't told me no on a lot of the choices I've made, so I'm just gonna keep going. It's been fun.
Well, let's talk about that. You're playing Lance in this show, the suave Frenchman that he is. Tell me, I always like to ask different actors. There's the character, but tell me, who is your Lance?
My Lance is this for the one that I play. He's very lovable, very fun, but very stern with his son. He wants his son to either get married or he's going to join the army with his brothers because that's what he did. He needs to do that. But however, Lance likes to have a little bit of fun as well. He's not just he likes to goof off a little bit, but never really show that much to his son. Everybody else, but no, you need to do this. So it's one of those things, and in his past. And you can see that, they were a band back in the day that they all had kind of like a Jackson 5 or a Guess or something like that, back in the day, or an NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. And, that's something he was very proud of back in the day. And it's just fun for him and excited to get that out. And then there's the love interest with Angelique, which is, again, is very playful, very fun. That's a side that you didn't get to see, and you're seeing that in the bedroom with Angelique.
Well, speaking of Angelique, you have one of my favorite actresses playing your other half in this, Jeanette. Tell me, what is that like sharing the stage with her?
She is awesome. She's a force to be reckoned with. She's so damn funny. And thank you, Jeanette. She saved my ass on the first show.
Oh.
I flubbed up a little line, and she was like, well, I was your nurse. And I was like, oh, you were the perfect nurse we ever had. And just rolled. I was like, and that's that's the always thing about Broadway. We all got each other's backs. Even if I'm not familiar 100% with the script yet, like I'm still getting into it. There's a few times I kind of did a little pause and I would say something different or try to figure out where I'm going in this script and where my lines are. But you pick up and you keep going.
And that's the fun of not only Broadway but just theater in general. It's what keeps the audience on our toes, keeps us on our toes. It's the best.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so tell me, what do you remember? You just made your, I guess, re-Broadway debut here on January 21st. What do you remember from that evening?
It was a blur.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It really was. Like, it's funny because I wasn't really nervous. Like I said, I was very excited to get out there. It was one of those things like I just want to get out there because I need the repetition to get familiar and get a little bit more comfortable because I'm still not where my surroundings would be. I'm not sure am I in the right area. What am I doing? It's that kind of thing. So for me, it's really just cranking it out. But the first night, literally the first scene, I go out, I walked out, I went, blah, 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 blah. I came on stage and I went, what did I just say? And I talked to Nathan, who plays Francois. I'm like, did I say the lines? Because when I got off stage, I don't remember what I said. And then literally the second night, it's kind of like, okay, now you're going to sit into it. Now I know what we're going. Now and you know, when the adrenaline's happening too and the excitement, you tend to say things a lot faster.
Totally.
So I was a little Russian that night. I'm more of Italian usually, but I was Russian that night. And I was speeding things up for some crazy reason, but adrenaline.
But I mean, once the adrenaline, you get settled into it, now you just get to have fun. Now you get just to play.
Yeah.
And
now
I mean,
it's going.
there are shows on Broadway, but then a show like Juliet, that just must be like the best playground.
You know, it's very campy, and I say that with the best feeling possible.
Oh,
And I'm all about cheese. I love cheese, so I'm a cheesy guy as well. And then you get, you know, hit after hit with Max Martin. You're getting an NSYNC, you're getting Backstreet, you're getting Celine Dion, Kelly Clarkson, Pink. I mean, a whole bunch of people's songs that you're getting in there. So it's just great. It's just amazing how, you know, they were able to take these songs and make it into a musical. And sometimes it's very difficult to do that.
Yeah.
And it's really cool how they were able to incorporate the songs to make sense to a lot of those things. And there's a lot of funny ones in that too.
Yeah, absolutely. What I really find interesting about you coming in here to end this role right now is that you, of course, grew up in the entertainment business as the pop star that you are. It must be really interesting to see all these very young performers and seeing them kind of like in the beginning of their journey as well.
It's weird. It is probably one of the weirdest thoughts, and I don't think I've ever had this conversation with him, and I'm not kidding you. I always look at it and go, it's amazing because I remember having the aspirations, the hunger, the drive. I still have the hunger and drive, but it's different.
Yeah.
It's not like I need to be somebody. It's not even that anymore for me because, you know, as far as NSYNC, I became somebody with them, and then I did stuff on my own. Where, I'm not saying, I have a name, but I've done a lot of the things that I've always dreamt about doing, whether it be performing, you know, to a stadium or performing in 50 people with, you know, a very intimate setting. I love to perform in general. That's first and foremost. But it's amazing to see these kids, and I say these kids because they are. Nathan, who plays my son, I'm like, dude, how old are you? I just need to know because I know obviously you're young. He's like, I'm 25. I went, yeah. I actually have a daughter that is a year younger than you. Just a year younger than you. And obviously, you know, mentally you start to go, holy shit.
Yeah, totally.
I am that age. I mean, and it is what it is. And now taking on the father roles, which I am okay with, and I think it's great. It's been, like I said, it's interesting for me to play that. Back in the day, again, like I said, I was Mark on Rent. I did Seymour, A Little Shop of Horrors, Dennis Dupree in Vegas for Rock of Ages. You know, it's crazy to think that now I play the dad character.
But not only just playing the dad character, but you have all these young performers who now get to look up to you as a mentor.
It's like, weird. That's weird.
It might be weird, but I have to say, as someone who, if I was a part of your cast, I would just want to soak up all the knowledge I could from you as well.
We have been having conversations, you know, and they ask, all right. Everybody party now.
Or party.
This is what happens. The music just kicks on.
What?
We don't know how we lower this. Can we lower it? Or we'll just keep talking?
Now you're like the mentor for the group, so these kids get to learn from you, ask you questions and all that.
You know what? They already started to, you know, some in a sense of just like, hey, so what was it like? It's so cute because sometimes I think they're maybe a little bit afraid to ask.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now that they're going to get more comfortable, I'm like, ask away, man.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where they're like, you know, I was really young, and some of these kids were not even born when NSYNC was even out. So, you know, but they were huge fans, or even when they were very young, a lot of the dancers too, especially a lot of the dancers, you know, were like, you know, obviously I watched you guys, and that's kind of what really, you know, sparked my interest in dancing.
Totally.
It's really cool.
All right, so for this next part, I'm only going to ask you a couple questions,
No worries.
but I want to hear this infamous Lance French accent. So I want to ask you some questions and give me your best
Good luck.
French
Oh,
accent
it's awful.
in these.
Shit.
Okay,
Sorry.
Here we go. Ready? What is your favorite number in the show, either to perform in or just watch or be around? And tell me in your best Lance French accent.
Well, my favorite numbers should be. I like both. There's two good ones that are very good. I like the Break Free. It's with my girl Juliet. Of course, she's very good. There's also what's the Shape of My Heart, which is
very good.
Very nice with Francois.
Yep.
And yeah, those two songs are those are pretty much the only songs I do sing. See how it just broke out?
No worries. One last one. Obviously, you're singing some Backstreet Boys songs in this one.
Oui.
Is there a moment of like, oh no, I'm betraying my NSYNC boys? Tell me what it feels like to be singing.
I got no FOMO. No, it's good. It's fine. It's fine. So it's not. It's okay.
It's okay.
with NSYNC, they don't. NSYNC don't like when I sometimes sing that way, but it's okay.
All right, that was perfect. That's all I need.
Spanish and French. I don't know
Perfect.
what the hell that was.
And one last question for you. What I love, the whole and Juliet team knows, I love this musical very, very much. I think the book is excellent, one of the best books, and the way they incorporate it. But what I love about it is kind of like the best case scenario karaoke night evening, because you go to karaoke bar and there's some great singers and some not, but here you have the best singers, whatever. So in that in mind, what are your go-to karaoke songs? And I will say this, for karaoke, I feel like there are 3 songs you need to have.
Right.
There's the song that gets everyone hyped.
Right.
There's the power ballad,
Gotcha.
and then the duets.
Yep.
So what are your go-to karaoke songs?
A Whole New World's a duet.
Nice.
If the girl can sing it. Also, Jesse's Girl is the crowd pleaser that everybody sings.
Yes.
I don't really have a really ballad. I'm dead serious. If I had I don't even know. She's Like the Wind.
Bam.
I actually did that live on the Legendary Night Tour. It was a song that I auditioned. That's what I auditioned for a couple times back in the day. She's Like the Wind by Patrick Swayze. Crazy.
That is fantastic. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in. You can see Joey Fatone in and Juliet into March.
Yep.
Go
March 16th.
There you go. On down at the Stephen Sondheim Theater. Joey, thank you so much for being here. Thank you.